You are born into a world that smells of wet wool and wood smoke. Your first memory isn't a mother's lullaby. It's the sound of a hollow stomach. You grow up in a coastal village where the fog never truly lifts. Your father is a fisherman whose hands are so cracked from salt they look like old leather. You watch him break his back every day for a lord who lives on a hill, a man you've never seen, but who owns the dirt under your fingernails and the very fish you pull from the waves. By 8, you are working. You're scraping scales off cold silver skin until your fingers go numb. By 12, the hunger is a constant companion. It's a dull ache in your ribs that never goes away. You see the merchant ships sitting in the harbour, heavy with spices, silks and sugar. You see the men in powdered wigs walking the docks, smelling of lavender and expensive tobacco. You realize a truth that will define your entire existence. Some men are born to eat, and you were born to be eaten. One night, the fever takes your sister. The next month, the tax collector takes your father's boat. You stand on the shore, watching the horizon, realizing that if you stay here, you will die in the same mud you were born in. The sea is a monster, yes, but the land is a cage. You run away under the cover of a storm. You sign your name, a messy X on a merchant's ledger. You think you're escaping. You think you're heading for adventure. The reality hits you the moment the shore disappears. The ship is a floating coffin. You sleep in a hammock that smells of 3 generations of unwashed sweat. The food is hardtack, biscuits so infested with weevils that you have to tap them on the table to let the bugs crawl out before you bite. If you don't, you eat the larvae. You learn the taste of rot. The discipline is worse than the hunger. For a minor mistake, a knot tied wrong, a moment of hesitation, the boatswain brings out the cat-o'-nine-tails. You watch a friend's back turned into raw meat because he spoke back to an officer. You stand in line, eyes fixed on the horizon, listening to the crack hiss of the whip and the wet thud of leather on skin. You are a merchant sailor. You are a cog in a machine that generates wealth you will never touch. You are worked 20 hours a day. Your joints ache. Your gums begin to bleed from scurvy. You are dying for a king who doesn't know your name. Then the black flag appears. It's a Tuesday. The sun is blistering. The lookout screams. On the horizon, a sloop is gaining fast. It's not flying a national colour. It's flying a flag as black as a nightmare. Your captain screams for the cannons, but the men are slow. They are tired. They are angry. When the pirates board, it isn't a battle, it's an execution. The air is suddenly filled with the smell of sulphur and burnt hair. You see a man's head disappear in a cloud of red mist. You are cornered against the rail. A man stands over you. He isn't a giant or a demon. He's a man just like you, but his eyes aren't full of fear. They're full of a terrible, wild light. He leans in close, the scent of rum and gunpowder rolling off him. "Why die for a master who starves you," he hisses, "when you can live for yourself?" He hands you a cutlass. Its weight is heavy, cold, and honest. He points to the boatswain, the man who whipped your friend, the man who has made your life a misery for 6 months. The boatswain is cowering, pleading for mercy. The crew is watching. The pirates are watching. The ocean is watching. You don't think. You can't afford to think. You swing. The resistance of the blade meeting bone is a sensation you will feel in your dreams for the rest of your life. It's a sickening crunch. The hot spray of blood hits your face. It's warm. It's the first warm thing you've felt in weeks. In that moment, you are no longer a subject, you are a criminal. You are a pirate. You have stepped off the edge of the world. Life on the pirate ship is not what the stories told you. It isn't a party. It is a desperate, grinding survival, but with one difference. You are a part of the we, not the them. You sign the articles. No gambling. No women on board. Every man has a vote. Every man gets a share of the loot. It feels like freedom, but it's a freedom bought with constant terror. The hunger follows you here, too. When there are no prizes to take, you eat leather. You boil your boots to soften them. You drink water that has turned green in the barrels, holding your nose so you don't vomit. The weather is your true god. You live through a hurricane in the Caribbean. The sky turns a bruised purple. The waves are mountains of glass that threaten to shatter your world. You are high in the rigging, screaming into the wind, fingers bleeding as you try to reef the sails. If you fall, you are gone. No one stops. The ship cannot stop. You learn that in the eyes of the ocean you are nothing. And then there is the boredom. Weeks of sailing under a white-hot sun. The skin on your shoulders peels in sheets. Men grow irritable. A look, a word, a missing piece of tobacco. It all leads to knives in the dark. You learn to sleep with one eye open. You learn that your brothers are only your brothers as long as the gold holds out. Then comes the hunt. You see a fat Spanish galleon low in the water. The adrenaline is a drug. It clears the fog from your brain. You sharpen your blade. You check your pistol's flint. You tie slow-burning matches into your hair to create a halo of smoke, a trick to look like a devil. The engagement is chaos. The roar of the broadside is so loud it permanently dulls your hearing. The ship recoils under your feet. You grapple. You jump. The boarding is a blur of sensory overload. The deck is slippery with grease and blood. You are no longer a person. You are a machine of survival. You thrust, you parry, you kick. You hear the wet slide of steel into a stomach. You hear a man calling for his mother in a language you don't understand. You find the treasure chest. You break the lock. Emeralds, gold doubloons, silver bars. It's beautiful. It's enough to buy a farm, a house, a life. But as you run your fingers through the coins, you look at your hands. They are stained dark. You look at the bodies littering the deck. One of them is a boy, no older than 14. He looks like your brother. You realize the gold doesn't wash off the blood. It just hides it for a while. You celebrate that night. You drink until the world spins. You sing songs of defiance. But when the fire dies down and the moon rises, you sit on the rail and stare at the wake of the ship. You realize you can never go back. There is no port that will welcome you. There is no home waiting. You are a ghost and you're just waiting for the world to find out. The years pass and they aren't kind. Your body is a map of your failures. A jagged scar runs across your chest from a boarding pike. 2 fingers are missing from your left hand, lost to a rope burn that turned gangrenous. Every time the weather turns cold, your bones ache with a deep pulsing fire. The freedom starts to feel like a different kind of prison. You are constantly watching the horizon, not for prizes, but for the white sails of the Royal Navy. They are hunting you now. You are a hostis humani generis, an enemy of all mankind. Paranoia sets in. You see the way the quartermaster looks at the captain. You hear whispers in the galley about the king's pardon. Men are talking about turning each other in to save their own necks. Trust is a luxury you can no longer afford. You start to see the faces of the men you've killed. They don't scream anymore. They just stand at the edge of your vision, dripping wet and silent. One night, your closest friend, the man who pulled you out of the surf 3 years ago, tries to slit the captain's throat while he sleeps. You are the one who has to stop him. You are the one who has to hold him down while they maroon him on a sandbar with nothing but a bottle of water and a single-shot pistol. As the ship sails away, you watch his small figure shrinking on the beach until he's just a speck. You realize that you are more alone in the middle of a crew of 80 men than you ever were in your father's hut. The end doesn't come with glory. It comes with a leak and a dead calm. The ship is rotting, the hull is riddled with shipworms. The sails are rags. You've been chased into a shallow bay by a British man-o'-war. They are bigger, faster, and they have more teeth. The captain is drunk. Half the crew has deserted. You stand on the deck looking at the massive wall of wood and iron closing in on you. You feel a strange sense of relief. The wait is finally over. The first broadside tears the mast away. You are thrown across the deck. A splinter the size of a dagger is lodged in your thigh. You don't feel pain, only a dull thudding. You try to stand, but your legs won't work. You lie there, looking up at the sky. It's the same sky you saw as a boy in the mud. It's indifferent. The soldiers swarm the deck. They don't see a hero. They don't see a rebel. They see a filthy, broken animal. They drag you by your arms, your wounded leg trailing a red line across the wood you once scrubbed with pride. They don't kill you. Not yet. They want a show. You spend months in a stone cell. The dampness gets into your lungs. You cough up grey phlegm. They feed you just enough to keep you alive for the trial. The trial is a formality. The judge doesn't even look at you. He reads the sentence while looking at his watch. To be hanged by the neck until dead, and may God have mercy on your soul. You want to laugh, God left you a long time ago. The morning is crisp. The air smells of salt, the same salt that has been the backdrop of your entire life. They lead you out to the gallows built on the shoreline. A crowd has gathered. They throw stones. They spit. They call you a monster. You look at them. The shopkeepers, the sailors, the wives. You see the hunger in their eyes, the same hunger you had. They hate you because you dared to take what they only dream of stealing. You climb the wooden steps. Your knees are weak. The executioner puts the noose around your neck. The hemp is rough. It smells of tar. You look out past the crowd, past the town, to the horizon. The sun is just breaking over the water. It's beautiful. For a second, the gold on the waves looks real. You realize the tragedy of your life. You spent it all trying to escape the dirt, trying to be more than a slave, trying to find a fortune that would make you feel whole. And in the end, all you did was exchange one master for another. You traded the king for the sea. And the sea is a much more cruel judge. The trapdoor groans. You take one last breath. It tastes of salt. You are a pirate. And this is the only way it could ever end.